What's up, guys? Back in today with another reaction to A Star Brighter Than the Sun. Yep, this time with episode 6. I will say last episode was probably one of my favourites, if not my favourite episode of this series so far. I think it was just quite tight-knit and focused on that kind of one kind of skipping event and such. It just felt a bit more directed and well-paced than previous episodes. And I'm starting to enjoy the show more and more as it goes on, so... yeah, I think last week, like I said, probably accumulated in what was probably my favourite episode so far. Yeah, I was gonna say, why are we texting each other? But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this one in the comments. Leave a like on the video if you guys do like, and subscribe to the channel if you do want to keep up to date. I think I have heard it is like, it's not rude per se, but you don't want to make too much noise in like a food establishment in Japan. Don't want to take like a phone call or anything, so maybe they're just trying not to be rude. Or perhaps they're just trying to hide their secrets from the chefs. Or that the chefs care too much about your high school romance. But yeah. But I think that's one of the biggest things. I do really like her two friends, the side characters. I think they're, the more we're seeing them, the more it's probably the more I'm going to like the show as well, because I do like their characters quite a bit, especially this green haired girl. But the other one's really nice as well. But the more we see of those two, the better. I do think. I do like those two quite a bit. Maybe they might have their own stuff going on soon. Who knows? These two right here. Not so much Simple Jack. Simple Jack's got his own charm though, bless him. But it's kind of nice having this. This is another completely different show I'm talking about here. But just before this, I watched a show called Toa no Yugure, which is an absolute disaster, in my opinion. So it's nice to have this to kind of fall back on. I think maybe that's why I enjoy this show a bit more over the weeks. That show's been getting worse week in, week out. This one's been getting better week in, week out. Maybe it's just because comparatively, maybe this isn't getting better. Maybe it's just again comparatively, because that's getting worse. This looks better every week. Just after I watched that. Oh, that's a nasty one that happens. I've said this before in plenty of my videos, but I remember a horrible memory as a kid was when I drank I think it was like a Coke or a Dr. Pepper or a Sprite. I can't remember specifically what it was, but I like laughed or something, and while I was drinking it, it ended up coming out of my nose, and it was like really fizzy, and it was horrible. It felt horrible. Had a bunch of fizz going all the way like through my Took me a couple hours to recover, honestly. So I love how parasocial this all is. No one's actually spoken out loud yet, I don't think. Let's hope we don't mix up the chats here. Might end up saying something to him that you meant to send to the girls. I could definitely see myself doing that mistake. I mean, I've used that excuse before, and I can look back and confidently say every time I've used that excuse, it was exactly that. It was an excuse. If you really wanted it to, you could make this work, and like the self-confidence thing as well. So I get it, but yeah. Him? That's who you're recommending? No chance. Yeah, exactly the reaction. Why would you recommend someone you wouldn't date to them? That's just putting down your friends, no? Like, it's not good enough for me, but. Sorry, I can't believe all that packaging just for that one small bite of chocolate. That's a waste. Yeah, you were the standout last week. We love you, greenhead girl. Perfect trifecta right there. I'm not sure what star that is. That's probably some kind of that constellation's probably got some kind of name, I imagine. The Bermuda Triangle or something. I know that's a place in like the ocean, but yeah. That's why you're off school? No way they're accepting that. You overate. You get a day off school for overeating? I've had plenty of days off school. I mean, I did. But even more. Hopefully you can't hear that. I think there's a plane going over. It's really loud. She did. She done the mistake I was talking about. Easy to do, especially when you're trying to text so quickly. Also, there's sometimes where you like do that on purpose. You like purposely send a wrong text. You're like, oh, I didn't. You pretend to say, oh, I didn't mean to send that to you. I can't believe this. Overeating. Have you ever heard of that? I mean, I've definitely like ate a bit too much meat and had like the meat sweats. Is that not just the shits? She she not just got like the shits or like diarrhea or something? Maybe they're just trying to say it nicely. Very in theme with the show if they are. With the whole like, yeah, these could absolutely could be 2-year-olds theme. Yeah, there's that noise. Sorry guys. Hopefully you can't hear it, but it's very loud. Just gonna pause for a sec. I don't usually have planes coming over my house. Very odd. Incredibly loud. And twice in a row. Maybe it's not a plane. I don't know what it is, but it's extremely loud. Apologies. I'm not sure you'll be able to hear it because I've got my mic kind of directed this way and got some noise suppression stuff. So hopefully you can't hear it, but maybe just when I was talking you could maybe hear it, so best just pause just in case. Maybe it's just the wind, I don't know, but yeah. That's nasty. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I am. Perhaps that's what it was. Maybe it was an accident. Perhaps it was like I said, it was intentional, but not consciously. Perhaps it was subconsciously intentional, if that makes sense. Her subconscious kind of came through and sent it to him instead of where her conscious mind was meant to send it. He's invested. But he's not worth liking. The beast. That's a good kind of revenge, I guess. The irony. Oh god. Yeah, we have a moment here, love. But yeah, the irony of rejecting her and then the person rejecting her, being the one to comfort her. That doesn't really work, does it? Not exactly what you want to hear. Your ankle. Off you go. You're not heavy. You are. You're not heavy. That was a lovely scene, ours, wasn't it? Till the mum walked in, of course. Hmm. I don't know if we've seen that girl through the show, but we definitely see her in like the opening or something. I recognise her. That is like sister or something. That's his girlfriend. With the plan. The plan is there is no plan except for the plan to tell him. I felt like she was going to then if the mum didn't come in. Not bad English. Had worse. But yeah, I feel like that moment was getting to something. Get the header. Oh, break your tennis racket. Which is gonna go for a header. That's such a cute little bird. What bird is that? It does seem Japan's tests are more in line with American tests as well. In the UK, I think like 50% would be like a B, close to an A. But it would be slightly harder. So there was like a test you could take that was easier, that you could get a higher score of like maybe 70, 80 out of 100, and you would get like a B, um, and it would be easier. And then there was a higher one, which was usually the ones I take because it seems slightly like the teachers always recommended it, that for the people that could do it anyway. So yeah, there was one which was the lower one, which again you'd have to get quite a high percentage to get a good grade out of, and then like I said, I think I got less than kind of 50% or around like 56 or something on my maths tests, and I would usually get like a B or something and get a pretty good grade. Whereas in like an American or seemingly a Japanese test, that'd probably be a failing grade. But I think it is because that one is a bit more difficult. They make it, yeah, and I think there's a slightly better chance of getting a better grade in that higher one if you know what you're doing. I can't remember specifically, but yeah. That's why I always see people get quite surprised when they see like UK tests get quite a seemingly bad score, yet the same grade that they're getting at a much higher score. Is because the tests are set up differently. We've got a couple kind of different variations of tests here. We did see him practice his English during that little midsection, didn't we? An English play. Here's some Hamlet right here. Wizard of Oz. Classic, classic. Doesn't seem too hard either. I mean, I've only watched the classic movie once in my life, but it seems pretty simple, I think. Seems like a lot production wise for this class. Like the outfits and settings. So those two, I didn't even think about that, but this old dude and that green-haired girl actually probably suit each other quite well. Didn't really think about that till now. With other languages, I studied French. I was always terrible at it, but I'd always do much better at the written stuff than the dialogue talking stuff. So hopefully it's not the same for these guys. They've just done a written test and got a really high score, yet they're terrible when you actually got to speak it. I was never interested in it, to be honest with you. Why learn French? I mean, why learn any language at the end of the day? It sounds quite silly to say, but I could say that about a lot of things. But just like French specifically, it just doesn't seem that handy unless you specifically go to France or some areas in Africa. Would have been much handier learning a language like Spanish. Portuguese. What did you just say? Jesus. Just laminated him. I used to love a bit of laminating when I was at school. If you could laminate something, I would protect it. The Cowardly Lion. What make a coward? I would kind of appreciate if they had the subtitles for everyone's dialogue here. Some of it is quite hard to understand. I mean, they all seem about the same level, to be honest, don't they? There's no one that's been more impressive than anyone else so far. It's no worse than any other English we heard there. And it's really impressive because I've tried learning Japanese myself, and it's incredibly difficult. There's an incredible amount of differences. I haven't studied too many other languages, but I do believe it is one of the hardest as an English person to learn. So I imagine the vice versa is the case as well, where it's incredibly hard to learn English as a Japanese person. There's just sounds that you make in English and Japanese that just don't exist in the other language. Whereas quite often in like English and French, for example, there's quite a lot of overlap, much more overlap than Japanese. And like some words are even taken from like French words or German words in English. Whereas that's not so much the case in Japanese, I don't think. Not that I'm an expert, but so I used to love. If you guys remember those videos that went about of people like that would like speak in English and then their accent would come out and they were like, and they'd get laughed at. There was like a TikTok trend thing. I don't have TikTok, but I saw it on Twitter. Yeah, it was like this trend thing of them like talking normally and then their like Indian accent came out or something. And then they get take the piss out of that. I thought that was really funny and very true. An interesting blue top thing. Don't you dare bite Toto. And you know what? His role is quite fitting for his current role in the show a little bit, I guess, isn't it? So this is why you laminate it. Exactly. It's just better. As I said, I should just, if you could laminate it, you should. But why have we? Why have you? You're getting your phone wet. I think it's just a bit worried about leaving you out in the rain, to be honest. Here he comes, slugging along in his football gear. Like your jacket's dry. Probably soaked as well. Hey, what happened to his socks? And they're up again. Also, what are these 1900s ass boots right here? This is the type of shit. Literally, this is the type of boots they wore in the 1900s. What the hell are you wearing, bro? They've got some really nice Japanese boots as well. They make a brand called Mizuno. We've got some of the best looking and best football boots about. So I don't know why he's wearing these. But yeah, what's going on here? 1 minute his legs like what's the like? This is something very small. There's a very small nitpick here, but like we see the socks up. We see the socks down, and we see the socks back up again. No, it's a very small thing, but really, did anyone proof watch this? And now he's not even wearing his boots. Sorry guys, like what's going on here? I know it's very small, very minute details, but now he's not even wearing the like. First of all, like why was he wearing the football boots anyway? As a player myself, you never wear the boots on surfaces because it ruins them. It ruins the studs on them. So you shouldn't ever wear them when you're not playing. But now the football boots, the socks are back up, and the football boots have turned into trainers. What's like the consistency here is incredible. Again, very small, I know, but it's noticeable. Brains, heart, and courage. Good episode though. That aside, oh, I've got some potatoes. Yeah, I'm not sure what that end was about. Like, it seems like a very big oversight. Big oversight, but small in terms of how much it affects anything. To be honest, but like, it's amazing that that was an oversight. It seems pretty like at the climax of the episode, right at the end here. I mean, I said the climax. I think the climax was when he was like leaning over when his mum came in. But the second kind of climax, how do you kind of mess this up? Just keep the socks up and keep the shoes the same. Like, I wonder what that was about. Maybe two different people drew the two different segments. I'm not sure how you mess that up. But anyway, yeah, good episode apart from that. Again, really like the girls. Their relationship's always really nice. And again, I didn't actually realise, but perhaps the grey-haired guy and the green-haired girl might get along, and maybe Simple Jack and the pink-haired girl might also. They actually do kind of suit each other a little bit, I do think. So yeah, hopefully we might look into that in the future. Again, lovely segment here at his apartment with his mum coming in. Spoil the moment a little bit, but yeah, another good episode. But yeah, just really strange. Maybe there's other things that like that I haven't noticed, but that was really noticeable. No, did you guys like notice this? It was like football boots, socks up. Why he's wearing these? It's just like you shouldn't do that. And then like down, and is he wearing the same boots there? It's kind of hard to tell. I think he's wearing the boots there, although they don't look like he's elevated. But it's like, so we've got boots, socks, and then we just got boots. And then we got boots, socks. And then we got normal shoes, socks. I don't know. Yeah, just a little something there. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comments section. Like I said, just a tiny thing in the episode. But you know, if this happened in One Punch Man or One Dance or another more popular show, this would be all over the place. It's like, how could they do this? How could they not see this? And it's like, it's just little. It's noticeable, but it's just little, so no big deal really. But like I said, it would be a massive deal if it was a more popular, different show that this happened with. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Leave a like on the video if you guys said like, and subscribe to the channel if you do want to keep up to date. And I'll see you next week with episode 7.